I mean, I honestly don't know what's been happening the last couple of months because there has been so much terrible news around the world. We've lost people who are irreplaceable, people who are true icons, who are true masters of their arts. And, you know, from Robin Williams to now Joan, it's unbelievable. This loss, it can never be filled. That gap will never be filled. There's not like somebody that's around today to say, well, you know what, they're the new Joan and they're the new Robin. Doesn't exist, will never exist. And I'm just so happy that I was along for their ride because they brought me so much joy, so much laughter, so much love. And I was looking at the photos of the flowers left outside of Joan's apartment, and one of them said she was full of love, laughter, and absolutely fabulous. And that was Joan. It's just, you know, I just feel it wasn't her time. It just wasn't her time.
That is how it feels. No matter how old she was, it's like, even though she's 81, she was just here 2 months ago. She was so vibrant,
and you
so
think of
alive.
her jokes. Her jokes were so timely. She was so much a part of pop culture. She was so on the edge of music, of TV, of film.
Fashion,
she knew
we know
everything,
that, yeah.
everything that was going on. Usually people of her age that are still doing stand-up are somewhat dated in their references. She was bang on every time.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, like with these comedians, when we lose them, for some reason, it just hits you extra hard because they bring laughter. You know, there are truth tellers, and it's just, there's something about the funny person not being with us that, to me, is extra moving. But we have a viewer that wants to weigh in.
I think everyone was and still is so shocked over Joan Rivers' death because we all thought she was immortal. I thought she was going to outlive me. She looked better than me, and I'm in my 20s. But honestly, this is how she would have wanted to go. Shocking in life, shocking in death.
You know what was so interesting was, like, you know, because she fell ill and then it was a few days before she passed, I had, like, some time to work through what, you know, this is a possibility. So it wasn't like you get that news, like, Joan Rivers is dead. She had gone into the hospital, she was on life support. And it also it took like another day for me to really get upset because I just started to think about all the interactions I'd had with her personally. I think we all loved her as an icon, but I was incredibly lucky. I'm sure we were able to interact with her on the show. I thought about every time that Joan made a personal gesture to me as a young comedian. She always brought young female comedians along. She put me on shows. She put me in documentary films she had done. She was always trying to groom the next generation. And I think a lot of times people think about comics as being really competitive, but she just had this open heart. She felt like there was room for everyone, and she really wanted and let me tell you something about her. We think of her as being this fabulous older comic. She started doing it when she was young, when there were so few, there were like 2 or 3 other professional female comedians out there, Moms Mabley, Phyllis Diller, and there were no comedy clubs and there were no spaces for women, and she would go, this young housewife, and do stand-up in a strip club between strip acts. And you know, dudes were not trying to hear her jokes about doing dishes when there was supposed to be some boobs coming out in a hot minute. She was so brave. She was so brave. And we all owe her everything. As young comics, we owe her so much.
I think we were together in the documentary that she executive produced. And for me, I just think that people think that Joan is this kind of brash comic, but she was such a lovable person. When she came, we had a chance to share a private moment because of how both our husbands had this situation. And she was exactly what you know her to be: maternal, loving, kind. But she was, if I could say this, just a great broad. You know, she could tell a joke better than a dude. You know, she could stand there flat-footed, just one woman with a mic. And I just think with Robin Williams in New York, I hear somebody behind me, and it sounds like me. And I turn around, and it's Robin Williams doing an impersonation of me toward me. And I was just startled. You know, I mean, it was such a refreshing startle. But I must tell you, Robin Williams, Joan Rivers, heaven is having a great comedy show right now.